What's up, y'all? Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back to Boxem Office Hours here. I'm live this time every Thursday. As a reminder, come pop in, ask your questions, anything relating to selling on Amazon, or if you just want to say hi, that's cool too. And I'd also love to know how you guys are doing as far as your actual Amazon business goes as well. I like seeing a lot of the recurring stream viewers and that kind of thing. Check it in. Let me know if you guys are running into any roadblocks in your Amazon business, that kind of thing. Super good energy on the free workshop last night as well. Appreciate all you guys that came to the workshop. I know there was lots of great feedback and that kind of stuff. We're pretty much just sourcing products with you guys, breaking everything down for a while. So that was super fun. And yeah, we got a lot to look forward to here. Easter sales will be rolling in pretty soon here, so that'll make a lot of good sourcing opportunities, I would say. It's kind of the real point of emphasis from Easter. Obviously, there's also some seasonal things you can buy, but for me, it'll be mostly about buying lots of profitable inventory, basically. And yeah, let me know what questions you guys got. Let me know who's in chat. What's up? What's up, Bon Fenty? How's it going? What's up, Sherry? What's up, Sadat? How you guys doing? Couple familiar viewers there. Let's see, what model is good for beginners. So I started with used books. If you're super broke, that's how I started selling products on Amazon. Slightly more efficient. Well, not slightly more efficient, much more efficient is going to be buying name brand products from either local retail stores or online. I do pretty much all online arbitrage at this point. So buying from Walgreens.com, Walmart.com, etc., and selling that on Amazon basically. Let's see. What prep center is best? So there's not a best prep center necessarily. There's a million prep centers. That's pretty easy to find, to be honest. The one thing that you do want to make sure to have, a prep center can save you time and money, right? As long as you just work with a prep center that's in a state with no state sales tax, right? Because when I was starting my business, I was paying almost 10% sales tax on everything. Obviously, makes it harder to buy things when you're paying an extra 10%. So you can just start working with a prep center in Montana, Oregon, anything like that, and pay 0%. And not do the work of shipping products in. But yeah, there's plenty of prep centers on Google and that kind of thing. And then if any of you guys are in the roadmap, we also have a suggested prep center for you. We also negotiated a discount with that prep center. So that can make you a bunch of money there on that discount. Let's see. When you source from a local store, how often do you go? Yeah, it's good to just kind of get in the habit of going, as often as possible. The main thing, try to be consistent about when you're going to stores, or especially even better, if you're not afraid to talk to other human beings, right? Go up to the retail store manager and ask them when they, when do you guys put new clearance out? When do clearance prices update? That kind of thing, right? So you could kind of build yourself a calendar in your local area of when to go to certain stores. That would be the best way to go about it, to be honest. Other than that, whenever you can find the time to source some products is the best time to source products, right? There's no perfect answer. Ideally you could source as all the time, but just not reasonable, right? Let's see. I'll check on that here in a bit. If you sent me a Discord message. Let's see. What if you're tax exempt? So yeah, if you're talking about sales taxes from online stores, so you can get sales tax exempt, but most websites will not accept resale permits for people that are not charities. There's a few exceptions. So Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's. There's another list, a small list of websites that will take resale permits. But besides that, if you don't want to pay sales tax on items, you'll just ship it to a state with no sales tax, which saves you time anyway, right? Because you can just have people do the work of shipping things to Amazon for you. Why do people say to start with FBM? FBA seems easier, not worrying about shipping as much. So the reason why starting with FBM is smart is because as soon as you list a product, that item is immediately going to customers, right? With FBA, you list a product, you have to wait, 1, 2, 3 weeks before those items first start selling, basically. Right. So it shortens the learning curve of making those first sales on Amazon, basically, to FBM the product versus FBA. Let's see. You saw a Boxem video talking about auto ungating ASINs. What more does Boxem really do? Yeah, so you can definitely take advantage of auto ungating, right? So I know for a lot of new sellers, how do I get approved to sell products is the number one question. It's the biggest question I've been seeing for years. So you can just go on Boxem and click bulk ungate, and that'll auto ungate you in a bunch of brands. It's going to go in and on your behalf try to go get approved to sell those things. That's like the most beginner friendly use for Boxem, but you'll also use Boxem for making shipments, tracking profit. There's an AI assistant that can help you source products and like answer Amazon specific questions, that kind of thing. Yeah, in terms of like software, Boxem for everything that's not sourcing, and then SellerAmp for sourcing inventory. And then you might want like a repricer as well, for sure. Let's see. Yeah, let me know what the questions you guys got here. Just see, do you do Amazon FBA? Yep. Yep. So I do mostly FBA. The alternative would be FBM, right? So shipping direct to customer versus shipping to the warehouse first. Sweet. See, there's a bunch of you guys on Facebook today too. So let me know if you guys are on Facebook if you have any questions. I've been selling on Amazon for about 7 years now, personally, buying and selling lots of name brand products and that kind of thing. So let me know if you guys have specific questions about the process. I know there's obviously like lots of information out there about like, making money on Amazon online in general. So happy to clear anything up. Let's see. When you manually source products, you notice that they tank quicker than others. That's interesting. Usually I would see the opposite if you're manual sourcing. But usually if you buy a product and it ends up not being as profitable as you hoped, you can almost always create more profit on the front end, right? So that's the big like disconnect with people who try Amazon and don't make any money versus the people who do. Is people who end up making money understand that the best products are not just going to be sitting there right in your face. Hey, it's $10, it's $100 on Amazon, right? No, it's going to be a product that's $20 on the source and $20 on Amazon, and you can use a 20% coupon and a 20% discounted gift card, a loyalty rewards program to create your profit margin, right? That's like the most important thing there. So you got a section 3. Will Amazon accept receipt? Yeah. So section 3 reviews are totally normal. If you're a brand new seller, it's like a random selection type thing where Amazon's saying, hey, we see you've been kind of getting into Amazon. We need proof that you're not selling like fake stuff on Amazon's platform. So go ahead and upload your invoices. And you said you bought it from like Kohl's and Macy's. That's great, right? As long as you're buying from legitimate retail stores, you'll be good to go. See, hopefully going to send out your first box next week. Yeah, I love it, Slick. Go for it, man. Absolutely. See, what are profit margins like? So I shoot for about 10% a net margin after I pay my team, because they're the ones who actually source all my inventory, ship on my inventory, manage the inventory, that kind of thing. If you're closer to like 20, maybe even a little bit higher than 20% gross margin, that gives you plenty of wiggle room to pay people for some help, or work a lot more hours yourself and make more profit. It's up to the type of business you want to run. What business model? So I do online arbitrage. Somebody was asking like how I sell on Amazon there. I do online arbitrage. So basically just, going to a big website, buying that stuff and flipping it on Amazon. Let's see. Danny, you said you're doing 5K a month in sales. Congrats, man. Good job. Preferred repricer, I assume you mean. So I like Flash Pricer as far as repricers go right now. I've been liking that a lot recently. Let's see. You have tons of products, but no marketers. So you don't need, like, you're probably making it too complicated on yourself, it sounds like. So the best way to sell on Amazon is not like creating a bunch of stuff from scratch. It's selling things that already sell, right? So stuff, for example, like you can go out to a retail store today and have something to sell on Amazon. You could look for something like this, right? I literally did that with this. This is from a retail store. It's got a clearance sticker on it. There's already a listing on Amazon. There's already people searching for that product, and there's already people buying that product, right? So instead of starting from scratch and creating my own products and trying to market products, all I do is just buy things that are cheap. That's the hard part, right? Buying things that are cheap and then selling them on listings that already sell, for sure. Let's see. What's up, man? You said 270K last month. You're at 28K this month so far. Student from 2024. That's what's up, man. Yeah, I love to see it. I love to see it. Congrats, man. You've been putting in the work. I like it. Sweet. Yeah, 300K last month. I didn't do 300K last month, so you beat me last month. Congrats, man. That's awesome. Let's see. What is Q4? Yeah, Q4 is just the fourth quarter of the year. The reason why it's so important for resellers is that's when like a bunch of just demand happens, right? Especially for resellers, because we sell things like toys, makeup, clothes, shoes, like anything that is name brand that people give as gifts. So the reason why like a lot of people are already starting to think about the fourth quarter right now, because that'll be when like demand peaks and everything. So pretty much every year, the people that I see who have like insane first years, they usually start sometime between the last couple months all the way up to May or June, because then that gives them plenty of time to understand the basics so that you can really capitalize on like how much like insane demand happens on Amazon during the fourth quarter. So if you guys are like thinking about getting into it, like now's a good time so that you can kind of like really have everything understood by the time prices are really high and that kind of stuff during the fourth quarter, like Christmas season, that kind of thing. What's the typical startup capital needed to get going? I had a little over $1,000 like to my name when I started selling on Amazon. I would say if you have like $1,000 to $2,000, that's good. If you got like 3 to 5K, that's awesome. That's a great start. Yeah, like I said, I had like $1,000, and that included the money I needed to like pay rent next month and that kind of thing. So you don't need like an insane amount. But at the same time, like don't spend money that you can't afford to lose, right? That's the main thing I want to emphasize. It's a business. There's risk involved with business, so just make sure it's something you can actually afford to do. If you're making ends meet, that kind of thing, drive DoorDash, do whatever you got to do. Let's see. Do you have a course? So you can learn a bunch of that stuff for free. So if you just look up Fields of Profit free course, I have a 5-hour long YouTube video that literally breaks down every step of the process. Right. Yeah. So like I said, that's completely free. Fields of Profit free course on YouTube. There's a 5-hour long YouTube video. There's also like an 1.5 hour long version if you don't want to watch the super detailed version. But they're both free. Let's see. How much do you have to pay to the IRS? Way too much. Way too much. But at the end of the day, like a lot of people are like, what about taxes and stuff? Like, well, taxes means you made money. So at the end of the day, like not exactly the problem there. Oh, I would love to keep more of my money, but that's another conversation. Let's see. Let me know any of the other questions you guys got here. Can you talk about how to handle returns? Yeah. So, sorry. Yeah. So when you get an item returned, it's going to go back to Amazon's warehouse, right? The warehouse worker is going to say, hey, this item's still in great shape. You can sell it again. Or they're going to say, hey, like it got damaged, something like that. Let me send it back to you. About 50% of the items that get sent back to me as damaged, I end up sending back to Amazon because they either click the wrong button or I can like clean up a little scuff on an item or something like that, and we're good to go. And then the rest of that stuff I'll sell on like eBay and Mercari, just like liquidation marketplaces, basically, just selling like truly like damaged returns. And if you ever have like customers like they'll try to like switch items out on you, that kind of thing. Like you can file claims against like sketchy buyers and that kind of thing on the platform as well. Let's see. Sweet. Let's see. Getting back into it. The year's been a challenge. Yeah, I appreciate. Yeah, I hope that's going okay, Galen. I know you've been in the community for a while. Hope that's all good for you. Obviously, not all good, but hope everything goes okay with the process there. What's ROI on almost 300K a month? I'm not sure. So yeah, somebody in chat a second ago was saying they were doing like 270K last month. So if you're still here, man, let me know. Like if you want to share any more details. Somebody was asking like what ROI looks like for you. If you don't mind sharing, if you're still here. Let's see. Does Amazon charge you for the fees when you get paid? Yeah. So like every time you sell the product, you'll get paid for the net after fees, if that makes sense, right? So let's say you sell a product for $100. So I'm just going to use $100 for easy numbers. Typically, you're probably going to pay about 30 of those dollars to Amazon in fees. And that's for them to ship products to the customers for you, to find the customers, to have Amazon exist, that kind of thing. And that will automatically go out. And then that other 70%, so that other $70 of this $100 example is going to get paid out to you. And then obviously from that $70, you paid some money for that product. You have cost in your software, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's just making sure you're profitable after all the Amazon fees and all that kind of stuff. For sure. Yeah. Let me know what other questions you guys got here. What do you have students outside the US? Yeah, for sure, man. What about prep centers and returns not being in the US? Yeah, if you're not in the US, or if you don't want, or even if you are in the US and you don't have like products all over your house and that kind of stuff, you can work with prep centers to receive and ship out everything to Amazon. And then there's also third-party services that can receive like the returns and that kind of stuff and like sell those on eBay on your behalf and that kind of thing. Yeah. Have you checked out Claude's April Fool? I have not. I guess I was out of the loop there. All I need to check that out. Let's see. What are your best tips for someone who wants to start? I mean, there's a lot we could go into in terms of like how to start, right? The most important thing I would say there's a couple things, right? So number one, don't reinvent the wheel, right? The best way to source is to figure out, hey, this type of item is cheap today. For example, I don't know, Gap clothing, right? Let's say Gap clothing has a sale. Okay, there's a sale on this. What are people who already sell this product that I know is cheap today? which products in that brand did these people already have success on, right? So that's just the simple basics of reverse sourcing if you guys have looked into it before. And then once you kind of have that in place, it's understanding that the best items you sell are not like sitting there for $10 and super profitable. You have to create the profit on a lot of items, right? So you're creating profit with coupons, discounted gift cards, getting those items off to Amazon faster so you beat your competition. There's lots of ways to create profit. That's kind of the main thing there. Let's see. Where do you recommend ungating from? Yeah, so the easy option there would just be to go to Boxem, inventory, and then click bulk ungate. So I know a lot of you guys are like new sellers. So if you go click that button, you'll get ungated in 50 to 100 brands for free right now. And then you can also feed in tons of lists of your own products as well. So that kind of gives you a nice starting point. And then once you have those starting points, like, hey, Boxem showed me I'm auto approved to sell this brand, this brand, this brand. Okay, this brand is the one that's on sale today. Let me kind of dig deeper into that brand and that kind of thing, right? Do you sell on TikTok? No, I don't personally. I know there's a bunch of different ways to make some money online these days. You love to see it, but personally not selling on TikTok. Yeah, main thing, just like pick something you like doing, right? There's a million different things out there. It feels like you can do right now. So just pick something that you enjoy and just kind of stick with it. Try to be consistent. That's what I've seen to be the most important thing. What is Boxem? Yeah, so Boxem's the software that manages like all of your backend, right? So you can manage all your leads there. You can manage all your shipments, all of your profit and loss. You can get ungated on Boxem. There's an AI assistant on Boxem, and you can automate your feedback on Boxem. So basically all the like, the task that can really eat up a lot of time, it makes it as fast as possible, essentially. Let's see. Boxing match in Miami. Hey, we'll see. Is that the can be right next to the wrestling match or something like that, or in the same place? That'd be interesting. Let's see. Ran into certain products revoking selling rights or selling limitations. Sure. So there's obviously brands you can't resell on Amazon. So like for example, when I'm sourcing products, if I see that the brand's already selling it, or maybe Amazon's the only seller on that listing, like the entire time that product's been around, I'm probably going to avoid that, right? If I look at a listing and several other listings on that brand, and there's, Johnny reseller on this listing and John and Johnny, very creative with my names today, or Mary reseller over here, right? That shows me that like, hey, this brand, there's plenty of opportunity for like third-party sellers to get into it. Yeah. What do you make? I assume you're talking like profit. So I shoot for 20% gross margin and 10% net margin. Because I pay people to find, ship, and manage all my products for me. And that's like a team I've built. I want to be specific with that because I know there's lots of like services that are like manage your Amazon account or whatever. Those are very, very often, if not always, scams. So just be careful with that kind of thing. That's like a team I've built and trained and hired myself, which you guys can do as well. Just kind of like long-term vision type of thing. What strategies can be used to avoid inauthentics or IP complaints? So some of those can just happen. Like IP complaints you can avoid by selling brands that are reseller friendly. So just looking at those listings like I was talking about, making sure that there's plenty of resellers on it and that kind of thing. In terms of avoiding like inauthentic complaints and stuff, you're going to get those. Like if a customer goes to Amazon, and especially if a few people on the same product say, hey, I think this is fake or something like that, Amazon's going to ask you to prove that your products are legit. And as long as you're buying from legit sources, you're good. So you don't necessarily need to like avoid inauthentic complaints. Just make sure you're always sourcing from places that it would be no problem to win appeals and that kind of thing, right? So always sourcing from big wholesalers, sourcing from big websites, not from some random guy on Instagram that's like, hey, you want to buy a pallet of this, right? Like there's a lot of that goes around. Let's see. Couple similar questions here. Yeah. How much money, how much software do you need to start? Let's see. Emmanuel here, you're asking like what app do you need for sourcing? Yeah. So at least $1,000 in terms of just like inventory, supplies, that kind of thing to start up. You'll use SellerAmp to source products. That's $20 a month. You'll use Boxem to do pretty much everything else in terms of like shipping, knowing how much money your business is making. You can get auto ungated at a bunch of things on Boxem. And that is going to start at $42 a month, right? So that's kind of your very basic software stack. Maybe add on Keepa if you want some of the more advanced things there. But yeah, let's see. Do you have to use Boxem or is it a choice? So, I mean, it's a choice in that you're going to make more money per hour when you start using Boxem. But if you're like super broke at the start, then sure, you can skip it for now. But it's just like you got to increase the value over time as a business owner, essentially. If you're doing FBM to ship off your items, is that where you make the shipping label? Yeah. So FBM is like, you can think of FBM as like selling on eBay, right? Where it's sitting in your bedroom and you buy the label and you ship it off to Amazon when it sells. Amazon FBA is like Amazon wants all your stuff at once, and then they're going to be eBay for you. Like, I don't know if that makes it any simpler to understand, but you ship it all off to Amazon all at once, and then they're doing the individual orders. That's the main difference there. There's pros and cons to both. The main one being that all else equal, an FBA seller is probably going to make more sales overall than an FBM seller, but an FBM seller has more control of their inventory and gets to those first sales faster because there's no check-in times and that kind of thing. You just put it on Amazon. It's live. Like with when you want to be an FBM seller, like I was saying, you could go out to a store and list an item while you're at the store, and it can be sold before you leave the store. That's obviously not possible with FBM or FBA. Let's see, just 10 to 20%. So now ROI is not margin, Hoyen. So I was talking about margin. Normal ROI for a reselling business is going to be closer to like 30 to 40%. So you can think of like, that's a good way to like reverse engineer your goals. So if you're at the point where, let's say you want to make, 10K a month as like a really ambitious goal, right? Reverse engineering your numbers there, you need to spend 30 grand if you're running at like 30% ROI, right? So that's going to be kind of like the typical breakdown there. Sweet. Yeah, let me know what else you guys are running into here. Let's see. Do you offer courses? So a good place to start in terms of like courses and stuff is just watching the free YouTube course. So just look up Fields of Profit free course on YouTube, or depending on where you're watching, either up above or down below. Bio, that kind of thing. There's a free course you can download as well. It's like 3 hours long, has a bunch of documents. One of those documents is literally 100 places that I've sourced like $4 or $5 million worth of inventory from. So you can kind of start learning like where to buy stuff from, how to buy stuff, that kind of thing. Let's see. Is there a risk of account suspension when you're buying from Walmart, Target, or other retail stores? No, because like those are legitimate sources, right? So as long as you're buying from legitimate sources, like Target in this case is obviously a very legitimate retailer. They're not selling fake teas and shampoos and stuff on Target, at least as far as I know. So you'd be fine to submit that to Amazon if they ever ask you for proof that your stuff is legit. Let's see. Do you pay for advertising for your product? So personally, no. There's some things you can do to buy like really cheap ads to help your sales boosted, which I've done and still do a little bit, but you don't have to at all. Because we're already selling things that sell, right? So like this product, for example, like if you look this up on Amazon, there's I would assume probably no one running ads on it. But just because it's a product that people like know about, and it's an IP, like Halo, for example, is something that people are already interested in. That's something that people are already searching for and already buying without needing to buy ads. If you're at the point where you're like needing to buy ads, then you might as well launch your own brand so that you can own the upside of like being able to sell the company and that kind of thing, right? So you can think about reselling as like a much easier to learn cash machine. And you can use that cash to start your own brand or, buy real estate, buy stocks, that kind of thing, right? I just look at a reselling business as a cash machine to do like, kind of more long-term wealth building activities, whatever that means for you. It can be as simple as buying bonds, or as complicated as, starting other more complicated businesses with your reselling income. Let's see. You started your account 2 days ago. Let's see. What would be a good thing to sell for beginners? So a lot of the times that can depend on your account. So what I would suggest is to go to the Boxem bulk ungater and then click that bulk ungate button and see what your account can sell right away. And then if you want to see what to do with that list of things that Boxem just ungated for you for free, we did like an hour-long call, and we posted it on the Boxem YouTube channel, showing you like the best ways to use those brand names. Short answer would just be to like reverse source them, but we went into kind of some more advanced sourcing methods and that kind of thing. Just go to the Boxem YouTube channel and look for the video that's like pretty recent. It should be like an hour long. Talks about like sourcing some auto ungated products, things that you can already sell. Let's see. I'm not sure what you mean, Wavy. Sounds good. Let's see. Part of the roadmap. I need help on sourcing. Not sure what you're doing wrong. Use Boxem with ASIN. So if you're in the roadmap, do Boxem auto ungated sourcing and then use the filter templates that are in the doc section. That's like I can't think of a way that it's been easier to source products for beginners in the last like 7 years that I've personally been selling than right now with the Boxem Auto Engate into um, some like bulk scanning with KPF. Let's see, how long did you sell before you started to see enough ROI? So for me, like I turned a profit 4 to 6 weeks in. Like there's very little overhead when you think about it, especially compared to like a real, like brick and mortar business, that kind of thing. Because your overhead's going to be $40 a month for the Amazon seller account, 60 to $100 a month for software, SellerAmp and Boxem being the important ones there. And then just like boxes, tape, labels, that kind of thing. Right. So you maybe have $200 in like direct overhead. So as soon as you make $200 in profit, maybe $300 in profit, you're in the green. Because the way, like, if you think about it from an inventory perspective, inventory is only a cost when it sells, the way most people do their accounting, at least. Let's see. What do you sell as a beginner? Auto ungated products is like the easy place to start. Yeah. Let's see. Profit margin. Yeah, talking about this a little bit earlier as well, but I shoot for 20% gross margin and then around like 10% net margin, because I pay my team to do all the like the actual day-to-day work and stuff. That way, if you want to do more work yourself, you can run closer to 20-25% margins, depending on like how good you are at sourcing, that kind of thing. Let's see. Can't find ungated products that work. I mean, there's a bunch of them, man, but you can always source gated products as well, right? Yeah, like find a sale that's going on today. There's a lot of sales that are going on. Like there was, with the spring week happening last week and then Easter coming up soon, there's lots of coupons and stuff, which makes good sourcing opportunities today. So those would be good to source as well if you want to sell some gated things. Let's see. Do you do something like that for real with your team? Yeah, like yeah. I don't take on like partners or anything like that though, honey. Hoyan, yeah. That's just my like personal company I've built basically. I'm not like managing other stores. Usually like services that like manage other stores for you are like not legit or do things that will make your account at risk at best. So just be very careful if you see that kind of thing. Let's see. You can't find the Boxem channel, so just look up Boxem on YouTube, and you'll find it. There's a Boxem specific, kind of Boxem company YouTube channel if you want to think about it that way. Let's see. How much would you recommend starting with? Not minimum, but a safe number. If I was starting all over, like I would probably, even if I had a ton of money, I would probably spend somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000 on inventory in my first month. That gives you a really good like just like basic understanding of what's going on, starting to find products and that kind of thing, while also not being like an absurd amount of money. But that's just kind of depend on where you're starting from, basically. Let's see. Did you do FBA or FBM when you first started out? I did pretty much all FBA. I didn't really know anyone was like doing FBM and that kind of thing. But I was also selling used books, which was a little bit better to FBA versus FBM. Some of that's changed. That was 7 years ago at this point, for sure. Let's see, white label. So no, I just buy and sell things that already sell, basically. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, there was some fake account in Discord. Oh, I see. Yeah. If you guys get like some weird message talking about like some kind of crypto scheme or account management, I've seen all kinds of stuff. Like people pretend to be me, and try to sell crazy stuff. So if you got like a weird message from me, it's not me. Like there's a bunch of people that pretend to be me. I'll take it. I'll take it as flattery, but don't buy weird stuff from scammers on the internet. Let's see. Do you operate under LLC or business? Yeah, you'll want to talk to like an accountant about that kind of thing. But at this point, I have like my own corporation, and I'm an employee of my corporation. It's more tax advantage to do it that way, than to pay like self-employment taxes if you stayed as like an LLC. Let's see. Appreciate you, Zoe. Let's see. What is FBA? Fulfillment by Amazon, aka shipping in a bunch of boxes to Amazon all at once, and then when those items sell, they ship it to the customers for you. Let's see. What's the hardest part in your opinion? Product sourcing. Literally nothing else matters if you can't source products, right? I see it all the time. Like I'll talk to like beginner sellers especially, and they're like, I got to make sure my bookkeeping is all perfect and all these different like random systems. I got to make sure they're all perfect, right? Like literally nothing matters if you're not awesome at sourcing products. So why are you wasting time like learning like auxiliary skills when the primary revenue driver is not being worked on. Um, yeah. So just product sourcing. And there's like plenty of like, kind of tidbits and that kind of stuff you can pick up on to get a lot better at sourcing a lot faster, which you kind of break down in a lot of the free content. But at the end of the day, like the only way you're really going to learn is starting to buy things. So even if it was, even if it's one unit, if you want to buy one unit and sell it, go for it, right? Just like learn the process, learn what it looks like to make a sale and that kind of thing. Try to get to that first sale, get to that first $10,000, like get to those milestones as fast as possible, so that you can double down, just kind of know what clicks a little bit sooner. Let's see, was Boxem easy to navigate? Yeah, that's like the whole point, Sabrina. Yeah, it's just kind of like easier, faster, that kind of thing. Let's see, do you hijack existing listings? No, that's like definitely not allowed. I sell on listings that already have demand, right? So that's not against us. Hijacking listings is against Amazon's rules, or at the very least, you're like messing with other people's businesses. Traditionally, like hijacking listings, by the way, in case you guys aren't familiar, would be like somebody already has a private label product that's selling well, and you just like steal their listing with some Amazon seller. I won't call it magic, maybe black magic. We could call it that. I don't want to call it magic. Let's see, how to get past an error when selling generic. So that error is about to save your account. Don't sell products that are generic branded. You got to sell products that are properly branded. Otherwise, it's technically copyright infringement. So what you're looking for is just on the listing, just make sure it says brand and then the actual brand that you're selling. You can also see that on SellerAmp. Make sure that SellerAmp doesn't give you a little warning that it's a generic product. If SellerAmp gives you that warning, you need to stay away. Let's see, what's the best sourcing model? Depends on your goals and where you're at and that kind of thing. Easiest place to scale to 100K a month would be a combination of retail arbitrage and online arbitrage for your first 1 to 2 months, and then transitioning solely into online arbitrage. Maybe gradually starting to work out some wholesale contracts and that kind of thing as you scale past 100K a month. That's, in my opinion, probably the easiest way to kind of get going. Hit some numbers that will surprise you. How do you deal with products that are not authorized? You either ungate them, or if it doesn't let you apply to ungate, then you just sell something else. Yeah. Sweet. Let's see. Retail really seems hard to find the right thing. What about private label? Private label is way harder, my friend. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with private label, it's going to take you at least a few months to launch a product, and it's going to cost you anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. Product launches are more and more expensive now. With retail, just like reselling, you can go to a store right now and have stuff selling, tomorrow, right? Or even later today. Obviously, I'm assuming you might not have an Amazon account, so then you'd probably have to wait like a couple of days for the Amazon account. How long did it take you to find success? I mean, depends on what you like define as success there. But my first year was like just under 100K, and that was all selling used books. It was about $35,000 in profit. That was what my first year looked like. And then my first year as a reseller, kind of doing what I do now, it's a little bit like easier to scale, was significantly better than that. I think my first year as a reseller, we ended up doing like 500K-ish first calendar year of reselling. So I'll definitely take that. What are the best stores for retail? Like I buy from just like a lot of the biggest websites you see. To be honest. But yeah, for any of you guys like wanting a bunch of good resources, like for example, where I actually source a bunch of inventory, I made a completely free course with like videos on how I source there and like literally a list of where I like to source. That's in my bio or down below. It's called the Amazon Launchpad. If you guys are looking for like just like a free place to start learning. And yeah, I personally buy a lot online. Yeah. So check out the free course if you guys are just looking for like obviously a free place to start learning stuff. Probably gonna go ahead and wrap up stream here for the day. So yeah, check that out. Fields of Profit on all platforms. I know a lot of you guys on TikTok, Facebook, that kind of thing today. So if you want to check it out, Fields of Profit on YouTube is gonna be a bunch of good like free guides and that kind of stuff, as well as the free course. So sweet, appreciate you guys. Go check that out if you want to learn more, and I will see you guys again very soon. Appreciate you.